All right, everyone, welcome back. It has been a while, but I am here to teach you more about writing fiction. If you are a beginning writer, you're just getting started, you're a young writer, you're an ESL writer, anyone looking to learn how to write, I am here with part 7. Today we will be talking about dialogue. And so today we will be looking at why you need dialogue in all your writing, when to use dialogue, using dialogue and action tags, and common mistakes when writing dialogue. So first we're going to look at using dialogue. So there are 4 reasons I recommend using dialogue. One of them is it breaks up long narratives. So break up long chunks of non-action with some action in the form of speaking. So speaking is a form of action. We're not just listening to the story. It breaks up those long chunks of texts that readers start to glaze over after a while. It adds energy back to your page. It also shows off your characters. It showcases your characters' personality and their chemistry with each other by using their speaking style. So how your characters speak to each other will bring more life to your story and show the chemistry between all of your characters. So it also engages the readers. With dialogue, readers feel like they are watching the story unfold in front of them. They're not just hearing the story, they're actually part of the story. And lastly, it has an emotional impact. So some lines last longer emotionally as quotes, more than just narration. So here is a scene from one of my books, The Rebellion. So this is the second book that I published, and you can pause the screen to read the full scene if you'd like. I'm not going to do any voice acting today because I'm not good at it, but let's look at some of the elements of this scene. So first, this is actually a scene that has a lot of dialogue, so I did the opposite of what I said earlier. Usually I would recommend dialogue to break up long narratives. This I'm using narrative to break up dialogue, but the idea is still the same. My laptop fan is suddenly alive, so if you hear that, sorry about that. So this is how Hanul and Jaehwa talk to each other, but if you go a couple paragraphs down, you can see how Intak and Hanul talk to each other. This is their chemistry. And then here's what I'm talking about when I talk about it has an emotional impact when you use dialogue. You have until the count of 20 to hide, sweetheart, Hanul said, his teeth shining in the darkness. And if Intak finds you, he has my permission to mark you in any way he wants. So that line is way better as a dialogue piece. It would not have the same effect as just plain narration. So let's talk about something very important with dialogue, that is dialogue and action tags. So dialogue tags and action tags. So dialogue tags simply just show who the speaker is. So he said, she said, Yuna said, Gwen then asked, he whispered. So these are all dialogue tags. And then we have action tags, just as important. Action tags show how the character says something or show the characters performing an action while talking. So it wasn't me, she said, her eyes wider and sweeter than normal. So, okay, so that shows us that she's lying, right? And Gwen flopped on the couch. He leaned in close to her ear. So these are all action tags. These show what the characters are doing. And you need action tags. Dialogue tags will tell the reader who is speaking, and that gives a lot of clarity to the readers. Action tags also have purposes. Action tags show the character's personality, it gives dialogue more life, it controls the pacing and the mood, and it shows who's speaking as well, so it also helps with clarity. It sets the mood for a scene, and it gives the story more of a movie feel. So here are some of my dialogue tags in blue. So he whispered, he commanded, he said. And then here are some of my action tags in red. I clenched my teeth. He leaned in close to my ear. Here's some more red. Hanul took a few steps back. Intak nodded, his lips pulling smugly to the side. Hanul said, his teeth shining in the darkness. Ast replied. So let's look at some common mistakes that new writers use, and honestly, some seasoned writers also use. The first is useless dialogue. So useless dialogue, just cut out small talk. Cut out daily greetings, anything that doesn't move the plot along. So here's an example. Hey, I said, hey, what's wrong? You look upset. I failed my math test. So this is really boring, dry dialogue. So we need to switch it up. We're going to change it to injustice. Georgia yelled, slamming the bathroom stall door. What is? Mr. Fredrickson, that nerdy fool's unfair grade on my last test is keeping me from a Louis Vuitton bag. Has he no soul? All right, so the second one has a lot more energy. It shows a lot more personality. There's nothing useless happening. And then number 2, unclear speakers. This one's a big one. So if the action or dialogue tags are not clear, the readers will be confused. Editors have a lot of work fixing these sort of things. So it's a little dry, and then line break. Gwen chewed on the muffin. The dishes clattered as Margaret chucked the wooden spoon into the sink. So we don't know if Margaret said it or if Gwen said it. Probably Gwen said it because she's chewing on the muffin, but we don't really know. Actually, I have this. There we go. This in blue shows what's confusing to the reader. So why don't you make the muffins then? She snapped. And so who's she? I don't know if it's Gwen or Margaret. There's 2 she's. Oh, I have a typo there. Or do the dishes, or vacuum the floor. Anything. Why do you have to complain? Gwen swallowed the muffin cautiously. Sorry, that was inappropriate. So I don't know who snapped, and I don't know who's apologizing. I don't know who thinks what is dry. So this is very unclear. So this is a better way. I still have the typo. I'm so sorry. So this is a better way of doing this. So Gwen took a bite of the muffin. It's a little dry, and then a line break. So that shows me that Gwen is the one that said it. Second line I have here with a yellow marking is, why don't you make the muffins then, Gwen? So that shows that Gwen is not speaking, right? Because I'm not going to refer to myself in the third person. That shows that Margaret is speaking. And then I have an action tag in the middle here of the last one. Sorry, Margaret suddenly said with a sigh. Oh, that was a tongue twister. That wasn't appropriate. So now I know Margaret is the one snapping and Margaret is the one apologizing. So bad formatting. Here's another one. This is very important. The way dialogue is arranged on the page is important. So here's a bad example. It's the conversation we had before, but instead of any line breaks, there aren't many at all. So now I'm really confused. Who is saying what and what is happening? The camera angles in my mind are not changing. So we want to switch it. Also, this is kind of a new thing that I've seen a few times. And I don't like it, and I'll just be honest with you. It's really confusing. It took my brain a long time to adjust to it. And it's not that your readers can't adjust to this sort of thing. I don't know if you've noticed the problem yet. There's no quotation marks. So there's dialogue, there's line breaks in kind of terrible places. But most importantly, there's no quotation marks. So I mentioned before in my video about punctuation. If you are a writer in the UK, you will use apostrophes around your dialogue. And if you are American, you will be using quotation marks around your dialogue. But there is a separation between dialogue and narration. And this is important for the reader because it gives clarity. I understand the appeal of not using quotation marks, and I'm not saying I'll never do it, but I am saying that clarity while writing is the most important thing. And if you have a full-on novel with no quotation marks, your reader is going to get tired because you are making them do the work in separating the quotations from the narrations. So I just recommend not to do it unless you have an extremely good reason, but I still don't recommend it just because I don't like it, and that's the only reason I need. The next mistake is robot voices. So every character should have their own unique voice. There should be some wit or style or emotion with each line. So, hey, I said, hey, what's wrong? So this is the same conversation we had before. There's no unique voice. These sound like the exact same character. So let's try it this way. I changed one of the lines. Injustice, Georgia yelled, slamming the bathroom stall door. And so her friend says, what? Was there no red carpet to the toilet seat? No, Mr. Fredrickson. The nerdy fool's unfair grade on my last test is keeping me from a Louis Vuitton bag. So here we show a little bit of a personality between both the characters. Georgia is just very dramatic, and her friend, whoever her friend is that is replying, has just a dry sense of humor and knows how overdramatic Georgia is and just doesn't give in to the drama. So this gives a unique voice to both of those characters. And that's it. That's the basics of dialogue. I won't get into the advanced stuff just yet, but I just wanted to give you kind of an overview. So let's do a quick recap of reasons you should use dialogue. It adds energy to the scene, it breaks up long narratives, the reader feels like they are watching the scene unfold, they are part of the story. And then tags, so dialogue tags, action tags. Use dialogue tags to show who is speaking. Use action tags to show what the characters are doing while speaking. And common mistakes. The common mistakes are useless dialogue, unclear speakers, bad formatting, and robot voices. Now, if you want some more help with writing dialogue or some more practice, I have created a workbook. It is completely free. You can just go ahead and download it at the link below. And it's about 40 pages of notes and exercises to improve your dialogue in your creative writing. And it also includes a 14-day writing challenge to spark your writing inspiration. Let me know if you have any questions about how to write dialogue as a beginning writer or as a seasoned writer. I will be happy to help you out. I will check the comments and answer as best as I can. And if you would like to know how to create a unique character voice, I will be talking about that in an upcoming blog post. So make sure to subscribe to my blog. I will put the link below. Let me know what kind of writing advice you would like to see next, and I will talk to you tigers later. Keep being beautiful beasts. Peace.